The following program, though incredibly nerdy, is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised, and you probably shouldn't watch if you're an overly sensitive pussy.
Well, good morning, and welcome on into a Friday stream, a Boxing Day stream. And yeah, no, I'm a little late. Okay, not my fault this time. I'm going to have to blame this one. Oh, Jesus Christ! One of the lights just went out in this fucking room. What the fuck? Fucking wrong. Okay, we're good. Hey, we're okay. It's all good. We got it all figured out. We got it all figured out. Holy shit. I'm gonna blame this one on the Starbucks Corporation. I was in line at Starbucks for 25 minutes. And then they asked me, they hand me this little thing that has like tip amount and this other, and I was like, where's the option to take some out of your fucking paycheck? They didn't have that option. So anyway, yeah, I should have just went to Dunkin', man. Like, what is this? You get locked into this thing. You've got like all these people. You can't escape once you get in line. It's like 6 other people get behind you, and they're moving like molasses speed. Anyway, how y'all doing? Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. How you guys doing? Did they get your name right? Yeah, it's a pretty easy name, but yeah, I guess I give them credit for that. Yeah, and look, you know, here's the other thing. They gave me an extra breakfast sandwich, you know, which was nice. They didn't have to do that. Now, they fucked up and made an extra breakfast sandwich, and who knows how many other fuck-ups that were similar that caused the cascading collapse of time, and the fact that we were all sitting in this fucking vortex of nothingness for 25 minutes. However, thank you. That's nice. What happened to the Nespresso at home? We don't have, like, we ran out of pods. I had the last pod this morning. But yes, we will get more pods. They are good. Yeah, I don't even know why I went to Starbucks. I usually just go right past it, you know? But for whatever reason this morning I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Where's the ranch? Get the fuck. I mean, thank you for that. I don't know what I don't really like ranch, so yeah, I don't have any in the house or on the block or if I had my way in the county. Hey, at least he didn't DoorDash the coffee chat. That's true. See, Trev, we're learning, we're growing over here. Although I think I DoorDashed yesterday on Christmas some pizza and wings. After we got back, just wanted a little break, you know. Did a lot of Christmas food, Christmas Eve, and then Christmas. I'll send you some ranch, Josh. Jesus, you should have just matcha'd. What the hell? I had some buffalo ranch the other day. Am I banned now? No, but you're close. You're on the edge of glory. How was my Christmas? It was great. How was Christmas for you guys? DoorDash is too expensive. Yeah, it is. It's redamn-diculous what you pay for that shit. But yeah, yeah. My Christmas was really good. You know, I will say though, I had a dad Christmas. Meaning, like, dude, it was great. It was cool, but at the same time, like, a lot of stress, just like keeping order. And the kids were just just because I think there's so many people and getting all the presents and everything, everybody was so crazy and going wild. Liam had a little bit of an accident yesterday, got a bloody nose, but he's all good. Athena was teething, and so she was like dealing with stuff. So, yeah, I had a good Christmas, but I had a dad Christmas. You know what I mean? Dude, you don't really get a lot of days off from being dad. You know, I get a few here and there. But yeah, that gig is pretty full time. Yeah, but I mean, you obviously love your kids, and we had a great time. It was great watching them love all their presents. Wish they were a little more calm about it. You know, they get in this crazy frenzy. They get all worked up into this frenzy. It's like, come on, man. Hey, you know, you got a little human body. Just chill out, dog. You know, so that's what I said to him. Family football game was the best for my Christmas. Dad was sick, but still had fun. Yeah, thanks for posting that video. That looked awesome, man. I'm glad you guys had a good time. I'm glad you had a good time, man. Dad Christmas is the best, though. It is, but you know, it's all, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like you can't really let go too much or relax, I guess. But yeah, it's still all good. You know, it is what it is. YouTube has unsubbed me a few times. Weird. Merry Christmas. That is weird. That is weird. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe we're too problematic over here. You know, maybe it's too much for him. You got your son a MetaQuest. Yo, that's sick, dude. I like my MetaQuest. What up? What up, DJ? What up? Watch the Spurs destroy OKC. That seems like a good time. That sounds fun. I didn't watch any of the football yesterday, man. I mean, I know Detroit lost, I guess, right? Because they got eliminated from contention. Shame for them. But I didn't really watch too much yesterday. Is the whiteboard stream today? So I'm not actually doing the whiteboard stream today. I think what we'll do is maybe we'll do the whiteboard stream on Monday. Today, just because I was trying to like figure out what I even wanted to do today. But Jeff Snyder tried to ruin everybody's Christmas. You know, he's like the Grinch, and he was like, no Doom for you. He like came into our nice Who town of Nerd Avengers, and he scooped up all of our hopes of Dr. Doom teaser trailer, and he went off to his fucking mountaintop view with his heart 3 sizes too small. So thanks a lot, Jeff. So we're going to talk about that. But look, there's good stuff too. The X-Men trailer does sound absolutely crazy. We'll talk about Wakanda, Shuri, Ben Grimm, Fantastic Four. We're going to talk about all that sort of stuff. We'll talk about the Thor trailer. The Thor trailer is out, and I think that's really cool. So that's kind of what I was thinking for today. We'll break down the reality as we now understand it of the Doomsday trailers, the sort of lack of Dr. Doom, and then we'll talk about the Thor trailer, and then just some bits and bobs, man, whatever you guys want to talk about. Thor, I don't hate, we hate you, Jeff? No, okay, like we're playing. Okay, it's called banter, you know? Everybody gets so sensitive these days. We don't, you fucking light, get back on right now. This light decided to give up. Maybe Jeff Snyder did that too, huh, chat? Anyway, we carry on. Bro, this is clickbait, or did they drop the trailer? It's clickbait. You're welcome. But also, it's real, but you have to stay tuned. Stay for 25 more minutes and wait till I get to it, because it's actually real. By the way, how dark is it in here now that this fucking light decided to kill itself? The Clankers, yeah, totally. You had some super chats before the stream. Appreciate you, brother. Let me look at that. This fucking light, dog. Can you believe this light? Hey, Mr. Penguin! Appreciate you, brother. $20 hollow. That's very generous, man. Thank you. Says, this Stranger Things season has been super whack. Only one good episode so far is episode 4, and I will not see the last episode in theaters. Then I am seeing Avatar 3 and Marty Supreme later today. Hope you have a good stream, Josh. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. I want to see Marty Supreme. Frankly, I kind of want to see Marty Supreme more than I want to see Avatar. It's not that I don't want to see Avatar. I do. But yeah, I kind of want to see Marty Supreme. We don't need to see you. Oh, yeah, thanks, Trev. Hope you had a good Christmas, bud. That makes me feel so much fucking better. You know what's funny, though, actually, to be fair? Is it Liddy? I want to see it. I just really like Timmy C, you know? Man, I just had a thought that Trev made me think of something. Oh, you know what? So years ago, I was streaming at my mom's house in Boston, okay? And she doesn't live in Boston anymore, but at the time she did. And it was like after Rise of Skywalker, and I like couldn't get the stream to work. So I did a whole ass stream with just like a picture of my face and a Santa hat and just did audio. So like I've done that before, but I kind of hated it. Jimmy C does it again. The Avatar headed to 1 billion. Yeah. Avatar's looking to crush, huh? Look, a lot of people dig on that Avatar shit. I know it gets a lot of hate and whatnot, but a lot of people dig it, so. I want to check it out, but you know, look, the thing about Avatar for me, like I feel really strongly that fuck theatrical. Like, no offense. You know what I mean? And I know we've had this ongoing conversation and it's like a whole thing, but like real talk, man. With my life, like I would have dead ass watched Avatar maybe twice by now at home if I had the opportunity to do that. You know, partially it's hard to get sitters for the kids, and you know, you kind of watch stuff in chunks, you know, when you have kids, and you know, you like it's like late at night after the kids go to bed, you and the wife kind of catch up on TV or movies or whatever. But dead ass, like it's already a big ask to go out to the exactly, Kendall. Like it's already a big ask, and then it's like this shit's 3 hours long plus trailers. So you're asking me to travel, get a sitter for 4 hours? Nah, dog. Like I just, and man, you know, I had this thought too, not to ramble so goddamn much at the start of the stream. I don't want to get into like a fucking yapping vortex where I just yap, but I've been having this experience, man, where later at night I tend to want to like watch a movie or throw a movie on. And I have a lot of trouble finding a movie or something that's the vibe. And then, like, I sort of kind of started to realize that I'm actually looking for background entertainment. That, like, part of what's going on in my psychology is, like, I just want some background entertainment so then I can engage with the shit I really care about. Which is, I started to, like, think about that, and I was like, bro, like, there are certain, let's say podcasts, let's say interviews, let's even say audio books or physical books that I want as like I'm engaged. I'm like engaged and I'm really into it and I'm like, this is awesome. Movies for me have mostly become background. And I'm just like, dude, there's something going on there. I think there is this hunger in audiences these days, but really I think it's like the younger audience, you know, up to people my age. I'm kind of an old head, but like even people my age and back to younger generations, I think there's such a hunger for like actually being engaged that movies themselves are not servicing that hunger. Do you know what I mean? Now, certain movies can be that 100%, and we've all watched really engaging movies and really engaging television, but I don't know. There's something's going on, man. Something's going on. Things are changing, and I personally am noticing it, and I'm just like, damn, like, all this trouble to figure out what background movie I want on, you know? It's kind of crazy. Anyways, we're going to get into some cool topics here in just a minute, but I do want to know, how was the Christmas for all of you that celebrated? Did any of you go out and see the Thor trailer? Have you guys seen the Thor trailer in the theaters? Have you? Let me know. King says the trailer makes more sense than the Doom trailer. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. And there's a lot of this that makes sense. We're going to go over it. And really, I think it's about, I mean, I think there's just saving Dune for the full trailer or the first teaser official at the Super Bowl. And dude, it will destroy the internet. And it's kind of wild how what they have right now is already crushing. Like, you look at the views, even on social media metrics of the Steve Rogers trailer, and they're like ridiculous. You look at how much money Avatar's making, the tickets it's selling, and you're like, damn, like, dude, like, the amount of people that are watching this Steve Rogers thing, and the amount of people that are engaging in the Steve Rogers thing, and I think it'll continue into Thor next week, right? It's just like wild. So on the one hand, it's like, man, it's crazy that they're not doing Doom, but at the same time, like, dude, it's crazy how much they're doing without showing Doom. You know? Like, it really is. And I think that's a testament to what they've built. I think it's a bit of a testament to the longevity of the things they did right back in the day. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Right. In 1 hour, Steve Rogers' trailer had 2 million views. Funny how everyone talks shit about the MCU, but they can't stop watching the MCU. Yeah, I mean, look, I think, I've made this argument before, and I was thinking about actually maybe at some point in the next couple of weeks, I want to maybe do a whole nother whiteboard stream that's essentially like why Marvel didn't die. And it has to do with like the 80-20 rule. And it has to do with, I mean, to me, this kind of explains where they went wrong and how they're going to be able to correct it back. And it has to do with this sort of philosophy or concept called the 80-20 rule, which like the TLDR of it is you make 80% of your profit from 20% of your product. And like, I can explain in principle why that was basically the formula that Marvel had followed right up until Phase 4 and 5, and then where they went awry and how they're correcting back to that. It's a complicated discussion, but yeah, I mean, I think Marvel doesn't have to like make the case that it's relevant. It just is relevant. And the more that they promote this thing, the more they build this thing, it's going to be relevant. Regardless of whether people are hating on it or not, it is the conversation. It is the nice, warm fire that we are all going to gather around and discuss. So it's wild. It's wild. I think people are genuinely excited for this movie. They're just being pessimistic for no reason. Yeah, I mean, there's probably many different explanations for why certain people are being pessimistic or being rude about it. But at the same time, Marvel did screw up a lot over the last couple of years. And I think Marvel, it's not just that they screwed up in some specific ways that have given people reason to doubt the correction, doubt the fact that they're going to be able to get back to hype shit. So I actually kind of understand it. But look, there were always haters of Marvel, even throughout the success of the Infinity Saga, all the way into Infinity War and Endgame, they were haters. It's just they got drowned out by the amount of people that accepted it and liked it a lot. So I would imagine that's probably going to happen again. Yeah. I think it'll pwn the haters. Yeah, maybe. Marvel truly has the last pillar of post-1991 Amerocentric monoculture. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I just also think it's like I've talked about this before, but you look at the impressions over the last even 10 years for Marvel, and it's like basically you would be hard pressed to find somebody that hasn't seen Avengers Endgame or Avengers Infinity War. And what I mean by that is that includes clips, memes, short scenes, promotion trailers, etc. Like the amount of impressions from even back then that were out there, it's just you look at what was going on the internet, you look at how much attention those two movies got, and it's like there's nothing like it. I think the closest is probably Minecraft or maybe Fortnite, in the sense that like you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that didn't know about Fortnite or Minecraft, right? In a similar way, those products or those fans and the sort of earned media that those brands have was pretty massive. And even though Phase 4 and 5 were like bad, you're never going to be able to take away what Marvel did in its heyday, and that is why it will always have access to a large potential audience. Even the smaller movies, I think, have the potential to reach that audience, but it's just they have not done well in figuring that out, Yeah. Will the new DCU reach the same heights? I mean, look, I don't know, because there's a part of me that thinks nothing ever will again. That like literally nothing ever will again, because there's a lot of other things that started to happen around 2020 that I think really bifurcated attention and niched down the attention economy. And that happened to Marvel as well, which is part of why it like looks like such a fall off. But it might be the case that we will never have anything. Like I'm almost to a point, and I don't know, because I could be wrong, but if you're asking me to yap about it, what I'll say is that I don't know that there will ever be a new brand or a new thing that hasn't already reached a peak that will be able to peak again. You know, One Piece might be able to, but what is One Piece? I mean, One Piece is 1,000 episodes over the last 20 to 30 years, all kinds of movies, product, etc. One Piece might be able to be really, really big, you know? DC, I mean, the biggest, I think DC is probably the biggest when Snyder was doing his thing, you know? I mean, I don't think you can really argue that the DCU or Superman or Guns stuff has reached anywhere near the level of like just exposure, impressions, conversation. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe to me, I think what would have to happen is like Supergirl would have to be absolutely fucking phenomenal to the point that even if it doesn't necessarily make a ton of money, like a lot of people kind of give it the nod and they're like, yeah, that shit's incredible or whatever, right? Lantern's the same thing, maybe Clayface the same thing. And then Man of Tomorrow has to be like generational. You know what I mean? Like Man of Tomorrow would have to be generational. And then maybe they're Batman cooks and then maybe they're Justice League. Like you could do it, but I don't know. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Marvel got over 100 million views and 7 million likes on an Instagram from Steve Rogers' teaser that already got leaked. Low numbers on YouTube, though, for some reason. Yeah. Well, I think that, I mean, it's funny because YouTube has kind of changed its algorithm. That's kind of like a side thing. I think YouTube views are a little harder to come by just in general. It could also be the case that, like, YouTube fans, or rather, I guess what you would describe as people that spend a lot of time on YouTube probably already saw that trailer. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a sort of phenomenon as well. I'm not gonna hop on Fortnite today. No. I don't even have I don't think I have Fortnite downloaded right now. It's been a while. It's been a while since I played. Probably the Doctor Doom Marvel season, where it's like kind of coming out of the cars, and then you had like the War Machine John and the Cap Shield. That's probably the last time I played Fortnite. Warhammer will be the new MCU. I think Warhammer is uniquely poised to have a big mass appeal, like awakening, if you will. I think it can break into the mainstream in a way that it's not quite broken into basically ever. And I really do believe that. But will it be as big as Infinity War and Endgame? That seems unlikely. You know, it could. It would have to be built correctly. You know. Yeah, I mean, it would really depend on how well crafted that universe is. Is it like a really great show that then leads into a trilogy of movies that tell this big epic story? I you know, that could get some Lord of the Rings energy and really be significant. But like Marvel built a 10-year catalog that felt episodic, that had a bunch of shared characters and shared narratives, and then it paid them off in a way that I think shocked everybody with Infinity War and Endgame. Will Warhammer be able to do that? I don't know. It's a tall ask, you know? Yeah. Warhammer hit its ceiling? Oh, I don't think that at all. No, I don't think that at all. I mean, it's certainly bigger than it's ever been. But, like, so here's what I would say about Warhammer, right? Like, what I say is, like, you go into an exchange, or you go into a GameStop, or you go into, I don't know, what other even stores are left. You go into some of these stores, right? And the amount of Warhammer as compared to like a Marvel, Star Wars, or a DC, minuscule, you know? And I think that will change in the next 5 years. I think Warhammer will sort of make itself more known. I think it'll be more prevalent. I think you'll see a bunch of Warhammer stuff. And that's probably on the heels of like Henry Cavill, live action, whatever. That's kind of the way I see it. Now, does that equal, you know, Game of Thrones or Marvel level? I don't know. I mean, I think they'd probably be happy with Fallout level. Look at Fallout. Look at what's happening with Fallout right now. Look at how much more Fallout shit there is in your Hot Topics, in your GameStops, in your, you know what I mean? Like, Fallout is kind of breaking into the mainstream, and I think Warhammer will get that from the show. You know, in some way, we don't know the degree to which it will have that, but it will have that. So we'll see. Maybe that'll be the peak. Or it'll keep going. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. All right, should we get into some of this stuff with the trailer stuff? Is the rumor of Tom Cruise playing a version of Iron Man true? Have you heard anything? I mean, I've heard stuff back in the day, and do I think Tom Cruise Iron Man in Doomsday? No, I do not. I would love it, but I don't think so. I think it'll be Downey. Yeah, I think it's Downey, man. Warhammer's not even hitting Dune or early AGOT levels hype. The landscape is cooked and fractured, and Warhammer is too weird. Yeah, I understand that take. I just disagree with it. I just simply disagree with it. I think Warhammer has attributes and qualities that actually make it uniquely fit for where modern audiences are at. And I think the thing's going to take off like a rocket. But that does not mean truly endgame in Infinity War level, right? But, yeah. Have you played Marvel Cosmic Invasion? A friend is telling me I should play it. I've played it. I like it a lot. I think it's really fun. I haven't played it in a week and a half, 2 weeks, but it's really cool. It's really fun. I don't think it's worth $30, though. I think it should have been a $20 game. If it was a $20 game, I would have been out here like singing its praises and telling everybody to get it, because I think that's about where it should be. I know they did a sale or something. It was like $26, but yeah. Yeah. Okay, should we talk a little bit about these trailers, ladies and gentlemen? We're just going to do basically 2 little topics here, because this fucking light won't work. Okay. Let's not break anything else. Okay. So we're going to do like 2 little topics here. We're going to chill for a little bit, and then I'm out of here. Okay? Because I'm still tired, you know? Like I said, holidays were great, but, you know, I'm a dad, so it was a little exhausting. All right, here we go. So, all of a sudden, kind of looks like Cryptic HD was telling the truth. Kind of seems like he wasn't fooling. And the X-Men trailer is real. When we last spoke, I think it was Tuesday, guys, Cryptic had just started teasing this, and I just wasn't sure. And I was really kind of stuck on this idea that, number one, we would get a Doctor Doom trailer. But also, number two, that like the whole thing's about fatherhood, which it still could be. It absolutely still could be. And maybe it's not just fatherhood. Maybe it's parenthood. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Fantastic Four trailer that's coming as well. However, this is pretty much confirmed now. And what I mean is, like, so basically Jeff Snyder, I think it was Tuesday night on the Hot Mic podcast, confirmed that, according to his sources, that the third trailer will be X-Men related. The fourth trailer will be Fantastic Four and Black Panther related. And there would be no Doctor Doom teaser trailer. And I just want to stop for a second here, because everybody has this like thing with Jeff Snyder. But, like, how many times is he going to come out of fucking nowhere with the best info to date, and then a bunch of other people corroborate it? Like, because Cryptic basically said, oh, I wasn't going to talk about this, but now Jeff's saying it, it's true, no Doom and all this sort of stuff. Like, how many times are we just going to act? We're legit going to act like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about? I don't know. I just think that shit's so crazy to me. But anyway, so Jeff comes out and basically says all of that. Now, on top of that, there were other people like My Time to Poop on the Floor, hello, and other scoopers like Daniel that came out and said more about this. So this is where we get some of the details here. And we're going to look over an article as well. And I also want to bring up something else that Cryptic said, because Cryptic kind of clarified some things, right? So here we go. Details on the X-Men's Avengers Doomsday teaser. Cyclops, Magneto, and Professor X will appear. Oh my God, bro. What? We're going to get a look at Magneto and Professor X in this movie as well. And Cyclops, that probably means blue suit, yellow things. That probably means X-Men 97 looking Scotty Summers. My God. Okay. So that in and of itself is crazy. We're going to come back to it. We'll gush about it. It's wild. Features scary moments. So remember, we talked about this. I thought this would probably be the Doom stuff. Scary moments. And some kind of warning in certain regions were placed upon this trailer. 1 minute and 9 seconds long. Expected to play in theaters on January 1st. So that'll be next, Thursday? Next Wednesday? Next Thursday? Wild. So... okay, let's look at what Cryptic said. Let's get a little bit of a clarification here from Cryptic. Cryptic says, oh, and I'm not saying the focus is Cyclops. I'm just using Cyclops because I think his one scene will feed us for a while. What? You can't just say shit like that. DM me. Let me know. It's an X-Men focused trailer. X-Mansion and everything. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. So we got some details. Let's try to put this together. X-Mansion and everything. X-Mansion and everything. Interesting. So is this going to be internal shots, external shots? Is this the X-Mansion doing good, or is the X-Mansion not doing good? You know what I mean? Wow. Okay. X-Men focus trailer. Very interesting. And we know that Magneto, Charles, and Scott are all in there, right? And what Cryptic is saying here, he's hinting a little bit that he's not saying it's focused on Cyclops, but the one scene, his one scene, Cyclops' one scene, will feed us for a while. Whoa, wow, wee-wah. What the hell are you saying? So if we kind of like put this all together, right? We've got an X-Men focused Avengers Doomsday trailer. Okay? Wild. Just in and of itself, wild. I didn't think we were going to get this. In some ways, this is crazier than even what I thought we were going to get, which was like, okay, we'll get this Steve Rogers, we'll get this Thor, we'll get either, Fantastic Four, or it was going to be maybe Loki or something, and then you get a little Doom tease, and it's just like a little tease of Doom. And I was like, oh yeah, that would be great, that would be cool. But the fact that you're now going to get an X-Men focused trailer, I think is so cool. I think it's going to really hype people up. So that's awesome. However, I don't think this is just an X-Men trailer. The way I'm viewing this, and I want to know what you guys think about this, but the way I'm viewing this is I kind of think this will be the craziest one out of all of them. And even Cryptic, I think, was hinting that the third one was the big one, which made me think it was Doom. And then that's when he kind of tweeted like, oh, the Scotty Summers thing. And that's when we talked about on Tuesday, right? So it's the big deal. It's the X-Men. It's got scary moments. It's got Magneto, Professor X, and Cyclops. It shows us the X-Mansion. And whatever the scene is with Cyclops is supposed to feed us for a while, according to Cryptic. Whew, that's a lot. And I don't know. So there's a couple of different questions that people could have about this. Number one, it's like, okay, is the fatherhood thing going to continue, right? And is it a Rachel Summer thing or a Nathan Summers Cable thing that's going on with Scott and his child or something, right? That could be really interesting, and that seems to be the pattern so far. I don't know that will exactly continue. It seemed like it was going to. It seems like it continues into the Fantastic Four trailer, which might have something to do with Franklin and maybe even young T'Challa's kid, right? Because Shuri's supposed to be there. We'll talk about that in a second, okay? So if there's kids in the fourth one, there's kids in the second one. There's kids in the first one. And then Cryptic says it's going to feed us for a while. I mean, if you were to say with the first Steve Rogers trailer, if you were to say that, like, there's a part of that trailer that's going to feed us for a while, what part of that trailer would that be? It would be the part with the kid. The part with the child is what's wild. That's interesting, and there's a mystery there that will keep us guessing and keep us speculating and keep us thinking for some time. So I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of starting to think that, yeah, we could have been onto something. This could be some Cable shit or maybe some Rachel Summers stuff. And that would be really, really interesting. Now, what does it mean that it's scary, dude? Well, dude, we've heard some wild shit about these X-Men, okay? So we've kind of heard that this X-Men universe is a universe of utopia. It's where, like, Magneto got his wish, Charles got his wish, Earth and humans being chill, mutants thriving, and we have somewhat of a utopia over there. Scary moments. Ah, man, like what? it could either be that it is revealed that these X-Men are a bit more brutal and darker than we imagine, because there's also these rumors that maybe they get tricked into fighting 616 and other universes, maybe even destroying other universes, right? So, like, that could be something that's going on. It could be related to Doom and him taking the kids, or the kids being sacrificed, the kids being targeted in some way. I mean, that could be potentially scary, right? Whenever a kid's in danger, that could be scary. I don't know. This is pretty interesting. So a lot of hype around this trailer particularly. I mean, I think it's the one I'm most excited for, 100%. And I think it's cool that it's not just X-Men. Like, it might have been enough to just show the X-Men. Could be really cool, especially like in the blue and yellow. Damn, dude, like, that is hype as hell. But this scary moment thing, the fact that Cryptic said it was the big one, the fact that Cryptic said that the scene with Scotty Summers will feed us for a while, I don't know, man. There's something about that. And I think in the same way that they want to evoke mystery, right? You think about the first trailer with Steve Rogers, it's like, yo, Steve, this is his life with Peggy. Oh my God, he had a kid, but he's coming back for Endgame. What? How does that work? Where has he been? What's he been doing? What? He has a kid? That's crazy. You look at Love and Thunder and the Thor trailer, and you're like, well, number one, what's going on with him and that kid? What's been going on since Love and Thunder? She looks like she's sick. We'll talk more about that in the bit where we break down the Thor trailer. But I would imagine she's ill or sick, and it has something to do with the multiverse. Might there be something like that going on in the X-Men thing? I guess we'll see. It's also interesting that Thor is praying, and he wants the power of Odin. So he wants like the Odin force, and like, so there's mystery there, and we're like, okay, how does this all fit together? Again, that must carry into the X-Men trailer as well. So it's not just like, hey, here's the X-Men and we're back, but it's also like, last time you saw Scotty Summers, he was doing this. Now here's what he's doing. And there's going to be this whole like mystery. And so I think I'm really leaning towards this X-Men trailer specifically being a big deal. I think a lot of fans will get really excited about it. And I think a lot of X-Men fans, because, you know, it's kind of funny. I was talking to some fans, you know, I've been around a lot more normies over the past few days with the holidays and everything. And I was talking to some normies about this. And there's still some normies out there that are kind of like more X-Men people than Avengers people, and are like, yeah, I mean, I like the Infinity War and Endgame or whatever, but I don't really like mess with Marvel like I used to. I'm excited for the X-Men. I was more into the X-Men. I think this trailer is designed to like grab up all of those people and bring them along for the ride. And generally speaking, the story that they have for Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think, is going to give a lot of love to the X-Men and to the Fox X-Men specifically, right? I'm imagining Scotty Summers probably makes it out of Doomsday and goes into Secret Wars, right? So that's pretty wild. Okay, now look, let's briefly talk about the Fantastic Four trailer here, and then we'll talk about a lack of Doom. Okay, so this also came from Snyder. He had first said it would be the Wakandans and Fantastic Four. Now let's look into a couple of different things that people have said. According to My Time to Shine, the fourth teaser for Doomsday will now have Shuri and Ben Grimm. Doom-focused teaser is no more. Now, the thing that's wild about that is it kind of like explains that at one time Shine was reporting, I think a lot of others were reporting, that there would be a Doom teaser trailer. There might still be a Doom teaser trailer. Remember, they did like somewhat like 30, 60 versions of these trailers. Like, we heard all this stuff, and we know they have the biggest, most expensive marketing campaign ever for the next year. So the Doom thing could still be coming, but I think the first time you're going to see Doom has obviously been saved for the first actual teaser trailer, which is likely to be the Super Bowl one, and we'll talk more about that in a minute here. But let's now just talk about what could be going on with this this trailer here. Well, if it's Fatherhood or Parenthood again, right? You know, Ben Grimm and Shuri are both like kind of guardians and kind of like uncles and aunts to other children that are important, you know, T'Challa's son, obviously with Shuri, and then Franklin, for Ben. So I guess I wonder if that trailer focuses on those kids and how they're being protected or something to that degree. But that also is a weird pairing of like Shuri and Ben, right? And I almost feel like maybe that trailer specifically maybe shows a little bit more of the story stuff, right? Like you almost feel like it would have to. The Steve trailer is taken from a completely isolated part of the movie, and it's him and his son in this either alternate timeline or back on the sacred timeline, right? The Thor trailer is a scene with him and his daughter, and then it's a scene with him praying in the forest, right? Isolated from like the events of the movie. If this trailer, I mean, maybe it's a scene with Shuri and then a scene with Ben, right? But if they're together, then it's like you almost have to show us a little bit more of the story to make that make sense. Now, we've seen behind-the-scene images of Ben Grimm, the Romero's guy, that's Falcon, New Falcon, and I think there was Shuri was in that scene as well. And they were all actually leaked to be in a scene together in some kind of ship that looks like TVA technology and stuff like that. And there were rumors that basically Reed Richards and Professor X at some point are going to figure out like Dr. Doom's real plan and then kind of put some things in motion to try to save everybody, et cetera, right? So that could be what's going on there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm interested. I'm way more interested in the X-Men one, but I am interested in the fourth one as well. So that's basically like, that's what is actually probably going to happen. We've speculated a lot, and it's crazy because, bro, we got a lot of stuff wrong. A lot of other people got a lot of stuff wrong. Like, you know, Shine was saying there's going to be a Doomsday trailer. I guess we all just assumed, or maybe there was misinformation put out by Marvel, or they literally changed their plan. But this has been an interesting rollout. Now let's talk about a lack of Doom, and then we'll get into some questions about this, okay? And I really want to know what you guys think about this, because lack of Doom kind of sucks. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, let me complain about it a little bit, and then I'll rationalize it, and I'll explain why there's probably no Doom. I just, like, really need to see Doom, bro. Like, I just really need to see Doom. And, you know, the logo and the poster and all these things that, you know, the light show in Shanghai, the leaked images and all this other stuff, and, you know, Doom's official look. And, dude, like, it's so cool, but I needs it. You know what I mean? Like, I needs it. I need that Doctor Doom. And so, hell yeah, you're rolling out 4 different teasers, and not one of them is Doctor Doom. I'm a little disappointed. Okay, I'm a little bit disappointed. However, you know, I said this at the top of the stream, you kind of can't argue with the numbers. They're crushing it. This rollout is fucking crushing it. Doomsday's going to trend all month, dude. Not like consistently, but it will literally be trending all month, continuously, popping back up in the trending into next year. And it's just like, that's pretty impressive. And the sort of double dipping in a week of, oh, here's the official release. Oh, by the way, the next one's out, and there's rumblings. And dude, Disney keeps taking this shit down. They're actually doing a pretty good job of taking it all down. And that's pushing more folks to see the movie in theaters and then get excited when it finally hits in HD quality the next week, right? This has been a pretty good rollout, and the numbers are great, and people are excited, and people are talking about it. So it's obvious that they don't need Doom to get the numbers, to get people engaged. And in that sense, fine. The other part of this, and this is the part that I can really get down with, right? They know that when they first show Doom, it's going to blow up. They know this. I mean, I know this. You know this. They know this. Everybody knows this. Put a 1 into the chat if you know this. Do you know that when they first revealed Doctor Doom, whether it's an official image, a poster, or Downey comes out and twerks with She-Hulk, regardless of how it occurs, it will blow the fuck up. It will crush the internet. Yeah, of course, right? We all know this. Marvel knows this. And what does Marvel want? Marvel wants to be able to say, the first official, because these are all like teasers and they'll probably call them some different thing. Marvel wants to come out and say, the first trailer for Avengers Doomsday is the most watched trailer in the history of time. That's what they want to be able to say. And I got to tell you, I have to admit, I think they're going to get that. I think they're going to get that. And I think this trailer will likely play during the Super Bowl. And I think this trailer will tack on the 120, 130 million people watching the Super Bowl to its numbers, but I think it will literally hit like 200 million actual views in 48 hours or something. Like, that's just on the big platforms. It'll probably, like, I would imagine, like, what's the record right now? I think Deadpool and Wolverine did, let's just find out. Let's find out real quick. Because it's a 24-hour number, then there's a total. Because that's the thing. Like, I think Superman did this 24-hour thing. Deadpool did this 24-hour thing. 365 million views in its first 24 hours. Okay. So that's Deadpool and Wolverine. 365 million views in its first 24 hours. Doomsday first trailer with Dr. Doom will likely hit 500 million. That's what I'm going to say. And I also think they're going to have massive numbers on all the actual view counts on every platform. Like, every platform. So that's what they want, and that's probably why they're doing this, and that will be cool. And there is a social proof in that. You know what I mean? The movie obviously has to be good and all that, you know, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. But you're talking promotion, This is a pretty cool rollout, and I'm actually a little shocked at how much consistent attention and how much consistent conversation has happened just around these first two teaser trailers and now going into the X-Men one and everything. And I'm just like, damn, like, they really are doing it. And they don't need Doom until that first trailer. And my God, like, as salty as I am about not having Doom, like, right now, because I want it, it's gonna crush. It's gonna absolutely crush. Now, let me just tell you something else, though, because this is the sad part. Guys, the AFC is weak as fuck, and the Steelers have a serious chance of getting into the Super Bowl. And if that happens, I've told you many times before, I will not be streaming. Okay, I will not. I might cut a reaction to the trailer. We'll see. But I'm sorry, okay? I can't, and that's part of why I'm so butthurt about him not being shown now. Because I actually do think the Steelers are going to get to the Super Bowl. Hey, you don't say that, Patrick. So I kind of think that we might have to do a lot of streaming the day after the Super Bowl. And that'll be a really, really juicy stream. So, yeah, just want to throw that out there. Okay, what do you guys think of this shit, man? What do you guys think? What do you think of the teaser, the trailer rolls outs? What do you think? Is it working? You got any questions? Is it so silly that we don't have Doom yet? All right, let's see here. MCU Mac, welcome to the Nerdvengers. You are a Nerdvenger. Now, this trailer makes more sense than the Doom's teaser. Yes, that is fair. It does. CC Black says you gotta save Doom for the official trailer. Yeah, I think a lot of folks are feeling that same way, and I totally get it. And I totally gets it, man. Let me pull this over here. Hope the Chiefs make it so all the normies and Swifties' wives see Doomsday trailer and their husbands make them families watch the movie. What? Yeah, I kind of understood that, and yes, that'd be cool. I'm playing the Steelers defense this weekend in my fantasy football championship over the Texans defense. Wow, both really good defenses, but the Steelers are playing with a lot of heart right now, you know, which is great to see. What if we don't see Doom until the movie? Highly doubt that will happen. I mean, that would be a pretty bold gambit from them. And I just don't think so. You need to show them. You need to get people like, I need to see more of that shit, basically. Yeah, Chiefs kind of suck ass this year. And didn't they just lose? They're eliminated? Man, y'all not watching sports ball, but to be fair, I'm not really watching a lot of sports ball either. They will show Doom, but won't hear his voice until the final trailer. And it'll be like, my name is Doom. Yeah, probably, 100%. They were out last week? Wow. Well, damn, okay. Why January for the release date? Shouldn't it start playing at the beginning of next week, a.k.a. on the 29th? Well, What? Next week? Yeah, let's see. Let's see. This guy might have a point. No, so the 1st is next Thursday, dog. 29th will be the Thor trailer out digitally. Or maybe the 30th. Yeah, it's probably the 30th. And then the 1st is that Thursday. Yeah. Josh, if it's true they're going to introduce Black Panther in Doomsday, at what point in the timeline do you think it is? Is it going to be the timeline that Steve created from the 1960s Fantastic Four? You know, I'm not really sure. I think it would be cool if there was a Black Panther on 838, or sorry, 828 with Reed in them. But I'm just not sure if that's possible, considering what I think that universe might actually be. So I guess we'll just see, right? I mean, I think you're going to get Shuri as a Black Panther. Maybe you get an aged up, you know, T'Challa II or whatever. Maybe you get an actual T'Challa from a different universe, and you get the son. I'm not sure. I mean, there have been a lot of rumors. There's a lot that we don't know, but you know, it really does look like, because Jeff said Wakandans and Fantastic Four. Shine said Shuri and Ben Grimm. This all seems probably real to me. Soul Jacka says, do you think the Secret Wars teaser will get more than 500 million views? The Doomsday marketing feels crazy, and also a fraction of how Secret Wars will get hyped up. I actually do. So here's what's interesting about that, and that's a great question, Soul Jacker. I appreciate it. So let me just explain what I think is going to happen. If Doomsday is effective in both its marketing and its production, and it does a good job, then Secret Wars will be a bigger movie. Secret Wars marketing will be bigger. The Secret Wars trailer will be watched by more people. Look, most of you guys believe that Infinity War is a much better movie than Endgame. Put a 1 in the chat if you think so. By the way, I think they're actually very close, but yes, I would give it to Infinity War, but I think Endgame is way fucking better than people give it credit for. However, the point I'm trying to make is most people agree that Infinity War is a better movie than Endgame. So the question then would be, why did Endgame make so much more money? Why did Endgame get so much more attention? And the answer is, because of Infinity War. Infinity War, for all intents and purposes, was the greatest teaser trailer of all time. It left you on this crazy cliffhanger, and it created a year of like, I need to know what is going to happen. And Doomsday can do the same thing. Doomsday can have that same pattern. People say I'm a Zoomer, but actually I'm a Gooner for KK. Okay, right on. Hell yeah. Merry Christmas. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Josh, they showed Doom in this teaser trailer. I saw it yesterday. Oh, damn. Okay, well, I'll go check it out then. Whether it's T'Challa or the son, the Russos will do the character justice. That I agree with, yeah. Thanks for saying the thing. My name is Doom. Bears versus Steelers Super Bowl. Let's go. That would be cool, man. I'd be down with that. Are you guys, like, how mad are you guys going to be if, like, I stick to my guns and do not stream a Steelers Super Bowl? Like, just be honest with me. Like, are you guys going to be mad? Or are you like, nah, I get it. I understand. If it were my team, I would totally understand. Like, I don't know. Like, what's the vibes out there? Infinity War is what created leak culture. Sort of. Yeah. I think there's some truth in that. King says, do you think they will show Hugh and Toby in a tease? Maybe in the first trailer. I don't know. Steelers are one and done. LOL, stop the cap. Brother, nah, like, it's not cap. The AFC is weak, bro. Like, Jacksonville, even the Patriots, even Buffalo right now. Like, we lost to Buffalo by 3, dude, and we played like shit. So, nah, man, these teams ain't got it like that, brother. Did the Wakandans fix Steve's shield that Thanos broke, or was it just left behind? That's a good question. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. They're weak too? No, they're sloppy. They're not weak. They're sloppy. They don't play consistently good, but they're going into the playoffs with momentum. They're playing really fucking good right now. You can't deny that. So... Steelers passing defense is also suspect. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they paid a lot of money for their defense, and the defense isn't operating, I think, the way that it could, but their schemes have actually been pretty brilliant. And I think they are well coached and well prepared. So we'll just see. The Steelers can 100% win the AFC. Who cares if you don't stream? Enjoy that shit and get drunk as shit. Hell yeah, I will. Jacksonville's cooking right now, 5-3 against other teams that are playoff bound, better than anyone else in that regard. That's fair. That is fair. The Steelers haven't even clinched a playoff spot. Yeah, but they have multiple ways to clinch. They just need to win one more game. Literally, they win one more game. They have 2 left. They clinch. If the Ravens lose one more game, they clinch. Pretty sure. So, yeah. Is DK going to play in the playoffs? Yeah, I think so. I think so. And if I was the teams that he was playing against, I would call up the guy that he punched, and I would literally get him like box seats and keep putting him on the Jumbotron. But, you know, that's me. Also, don't do that because I don't want him to freak out. DK only suspended 2 games. I mean, he lost a lot of money, but yeah. Did you see the Ghost Rider casting news? Yeah, I mean, it was a swing and a miss, right? They wanted Robert Pattinson. You know, it was funny. I thought about tweeting like, Robert Pattinson would deadass become Ghost Rider and then be like, James Dean didn't really learn how to drive motorcycles. Fuck out of here. But I couldn't figure out a clever way to make it work as a tweet or whatever. So, yeah. Listen to Josh while my baby is born. Well, you know, maybe turn it off when the actual pushing starts. But, you know, I'm looking for you. I'm looking out for you here. During the labor, though, you're Gucci. Truthfully, it doesn't matter whether you stream or not. As soon as you give your take of the marketing, I'm clicking that shit. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. C-section? Oh, okay. Roger that. Well, congratulations either way. Broncos Steelers AFC Championship? That would be cool. That would be cool. All right, well, let's end this segment here. We turned it into a Steelers segment. I'm not going to be mad about it, though. I'm not going to be mad about it. Yeah, congratulations, man. That's awesome. Okay, should we talk about some Thor trailer? Let's talk some Thor trailer. Let's yap a little bit, and then let's just get on out of here. You know, I still need a little bit of rest. You know, I need a little bit of rest. You know, you guys are stressing me out. Would you do ayahuasca with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, I would, but you kind of do ayahuasca on your own, even if you're with other people. Ayahuasca is like a very intimate, personal journey. You know, you'll have like the shaman there or whatever, but really it's just you and you, dog. So you don't really do it with other people, but like, would I do that? Absolutely. Absolutely, I would. Josh about to enter the Odin sleep. Oh, that would be nice, dude. That would be nice. Give me like some Odin sleep. Wake me up in like 100 years or whatever. What's your favorite X-Men comic to read? You know, that's kind of an interesting question. If I were to just go read an X-Men comic right now, like what would I read? Well, to be honest with you, I don't actually enjoy the Claremont stuff as much as other people. I understand his talent. It's a little too wordy for me, and I don't like a lot of the thought bubbles. But that's like older Claremont. I think, you know, he doesn't do that stuff these days as much. If I just wanted to read some X-Men, maybe Astonishing, maybe Grant Morrison's X-Men, maybe I mean, I like the Krakoa stuff a lot. Hickman's, you know, especially the start of that was awesome. I also really randomly like Way of X, dude. I thought Way of X was so cool. What they were doing with Legion and all that. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Morrison's new X-Men. Maybe Astonishing. Yeah, those are good ones. You caught up on Stranger Things? Nah, I haven't even watched episode 4. And I don't know if I'll finish it. I'm just being honest. I cannot imagine being this disengaged from Stranger Things. I mean, I really think, and again, I haven't seen the 4th one. Everybody says the 4th one's the best one. Those first 3 episodes were ass, bro. They were ass. And it's like, what am I doing here? You really want me to, like, I don't know. Just feels weird to like keep going. I don't know what I'm saying. Inferno is probably the coolest X-Men story. Inferno's cool. Volume 2 was worse. Jesus. Wow. They really fucked it up, huh? Well, whatever. It's no sweat off my back, you know. Too bad, I guess. Swing and a miss. The whole season is peak. Some people are really liking it. I've seen a lot of folks defending it, etc., but I've seen enough people out there that share, in my opinion, to know that, like, a lot of people were let down, man. Like, a lot of people got let down by this thing. So, kind of tough. Could it be that this X-Men team is the one Logan abandons in Deadpool and Wolverine, and Doom leads the humans to attack the team? I would love that. But that doesn't really match up with, like, a lot of other stuff I heard, unfortunately. That's a really cool idea, though. Hope you had a good Christmas, too, man. Age of Apocalypse is my go-to for the X-Men. Well, there's a lot of stuff I like during that run. So there was an X-Force run that Jay Lee was an artist on, and it had a lot to do with Strife and Cable and, you know, a lot of time travel. And, dude, I just thought it was the coolest shit ever. But that's more of, like, I just liked it a lot when I was a kid or when I was younger. Yeah, it's good stuff. The Uncanny X-Force, is that what it was? I heard from people saying that they are seeing the finale in theaters. I can't even finish 3 episodes on my couch. Yeah, it's just different strokes for different folks. I mean, I seriously think the shit fell off hard. You know, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. All right, let's talk a little Thor, then we'll get into some Q&A. I'll hang out with you guys a little bit more, okay? So let's talk about Thor, this new trailer, the Odin Force. Love and eternity. So we're over here on comicbookmovie.com. It says Avengers Doomsday Thor teaser trailer leaks in English. Robert Downey Jr. posts Iron Man / Doom Christmas card. What? So the second Doomsday teaser trailer, started playing in front of Fire and Ash ahead of the movie's second weekend in theaters. That movie's crushing it, by the way. I still want to see it. After French version showed up online this past Monday. Ooh, oui. Now, we have the latest sneak peek in English. Actually, listening to Chris Hemsworth recite the prayer to Odin hits different. I agree. And if the Russo brothers wanted to establish that they're taking the God of Direction seriously after Taika Waititi's comical Thor Love and Thunder bullshit-ass, terrible-ass movie that did way more damage than people realize, mission accomplished. The war and now fate have given me something I never sought, Thor can be heard saying. A child, a life untouched by this all. Lend to me the strength of the All-Fathers so that I might fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her, not as a warrior, but as warmth, to teach her not to battle, but stillness. The kind I never knew. Please, Father, hear my words. The Odin Son continues before the words, Thor will return in Avengers Doomsday. Show up on the stream with a countdown. Absolutely epic, right? Hell yes. I love that trailer. I mean, I've seen it leaked a lot. I want to go out to the theaters and watch it in a theater. I'm probably going to go do that tomorrow. Maybe later today, but probably tomorrow. But damn, that is cool, man. Now, it's not quite as bad as some of those leaked lines that, like, the AI made up. I'm sorry, dude. I just got to point it out. I'm not trying to be a dick, but, like, dude, let the thread run long. Like, there was some dope shit in that AI version of the trailer. Anyway, this is great. And, yes, it totally sets up that Thor will be a very serious player in this movie. The tone will be a lot more serious. And also the Russos, they're getting a bit of a pass here because technically they're the ones that actually made Fat Thor, right? But Taika fucked him up so bad, even when he lost his fat, that we're all like, please, Russos, please fucking save us. So, like, dude, that's kind of wild, right? Like, they're kind of getting off scot-free there, and Taika becomes the scapegoat, right, for everything. I don't really mind, though. Fuck you, Taika. But nonetheless, yeah, the tonal set. And if you've actually seen the trailer, if you've looked at the images and whatnot, whoo, man. Very, very tough, very strong. Like, the vibes are just so cool, right? I like the idea of him wanting to vanquish one more enemy. That feels like it's obviously Doom. He wants to return to love, a child, a life untouched by all of this. And that's interesting. I mean, we do see the shot in the trailer of them at the bed, and he's with her, and I think she's ill. So I think this Eternity child, because Eternity, I think, will be destroyed. We've talked about this a lot. It's sort of a fringe idea. It never became super mainstream, this theory or this idea. But there was a time when, I think this was in 2023, maybe 2022, there were a bunch of trademarks that Marvel acquired, including Doomsday and including, or no, this was maybe when they had Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. But with those trademarks, there was also one for Eternity War. Okay? There's this line in Quantumania, and actually, this was a thing that almost destroyed the Marvel Studios spoilers subreddit, because this was when they got subpoenaed. Marvel filed a lawsuit against Reddit and tried to get Reddit to give up the IP address of people that had posted the closed captioning for Quantumania, because within the closed captioning from Quantumania, it was revealed that Kang was talking about destroying eternity. And a lot of us super sweaty nerds were like, oh shit, like destroying eternity, like that's a thing that happens in the Hickman comic book, like this is a thing that predates the collapse of the multiverse, like oh my god, that's pretty crazy. So this child is gifted to them by the wish of Gore the God Butcher. Remember, they make it through the Hall of the Gods. They get to the center of the universe. And they get Eternity, who's, you know, like seen but kind of whack, because it's like he's just like a wishing well or whatever. And it is seen in the reflection of this girl after the wish is granted that she is connected to Eternity somehow, some way, right? So she's connected to Eternity, and therefore I think her being sick in the trailer is likely a tease that the way that Thor will become aware that the multiverse is collapsing is via this child and her dying. And I also think that probably connects to the rest of the prayer, and it probably connects to his motivation to stopping Doctor Doom, because it's connected to his child. It's connected to preserving this thing that he loves, right? So that's all out there, and I think that's pretty interesting, right? Lend me the strength of the All-Fathers so that I may fight once more. Now, that's crazy. That implies that there have been other All-Fathers. Maybe he's talking about the multiverse. Maybe he's talking about the cycles of the universe, the iterations. Either way, this is kind of interesting, because a lot of like Marvel fans would point out, oh, he's asking for the Odin Force. Okay? And basically, this is just like an aspect of power that is granted to Odin. It's why he has to go into the Odin sleep to sort of recharge the Odin Force. And I mean, Odin is fucking strong, bro. And Odin, obviously, with the Odin Force is really, really powerful. Thor right now seems to have the Thor Force, and that's like the lightning powers. And, you know, this is explored in Ragnarok a bit, where he's like, are you the god of hammers? No. So he has access to that. A lot of people thought even that might have been the Odin Force itself. I don't think it is, but maybe. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So this implies that maybe Thor will get the power of the All-Fathers, which some people connect it to Rune King Thor, or the ones that sit above in darkness. There's like all these hierarchical, powerful beings that connect to the Asgardians in some way within Marvel Comics. Who knows how much of that deep, nerdy shit Marvel Studios will get into. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's asking for the power of the Odin Force and potentially asking that all the Thors he's gathering up from the multiverse, which this is like rumor, but there's big time rumors that Thor and Cap are actually going to go recruit a bunch of variants of themselves. That they're going to grab up a whole army of Thors, which might become the Thor Corps in Secret Wars. And Cap's going to get the Howling Commandos, a bunch of Caps, right? And they're all going to fight at the end of the film, right? So that's like a big rumor that's out there. I wonder what part of this, is this a part of the movie where Thor has done that and he goes to see Love one last time, or he's in the forest right before he's about to go into this battle and he's asking for the strength of the All-Fathers to literally grant that Odin Force to all of the different Thors? I mean, that's kind of tough. That would be badass. I still think Doom will fuck them up, right? Which is also going to be crazy because, like, I think part of what's happening in this movie is they want to get, like, they don't want Doom to just beat the Avengers. They want Doom to be the best and most powerful version of the Avengers that is possible. And I think Loki and the God of Stories and Avengers Prime Loki is a big part of how that happens. And it won't be enough. It literally will not be enough. Which leads into some stuff in Secret Wars that I think is going to make that movie very special, man. Which, by the way, did y'all watch that video that I did? I think I dropped it on Tuesday about the Dark Avengers and Secret Wars. I can talk about that a little bit later, but we're going to do a whole whiteboard stream on that probably Monday. So that's kind of what I think is going on. I mean, first of all, the base level, it's epic. The motivation seems cool. I think Hemsworth is great, and I think people love Thor. By the way, Hemsworth put this out on his Instagram, I believe, and it says, playing Thor has been one of the greatest honors of my life. For the past 15 years, I've held Mjolnir and then Stormbreaker as the God of Thunder. But what made it truly special was sharing it with all of you. Your passion, your cheers, and your love for this character have meant everything to me. Thank you for making my journey through the Marvel Cinematic Universe unforgettable. Next up, Doomsday, Chris Hemsworth. Damn. And also, too, remember when Chris Hemsworth posted that, like, goodbye thing and then he, like, walked it back and shit like that, right? So there's something going on with Thor, and a lot of us are like, why is Thor crying? And, like, maybe he died or whatever, right? So I think people really like Thor. I think people really like Hemsworth as Thor. I think it's a strong move to promote the film this way. I even had people on on social media that were like, dude, Thor's my favorite. Like, I absolutely love this character. And this is my favorite. And I'm so glad he's in this. I'm so glad he's a big part of the marketing. I think Marvel's probably just being smart with, you know, picking these very popular, you know, very important male characters that people absolutely love. I think it's working. And I'm excited about it. That's the base level. And then there's some stuff with love and eternity. There's stuff with, you know, some of the rumors about maybe what Thor is doing. There's a possibility of the Odin Force, which is pretty badass. So there you have it. Any questions, thoughts, comments, questions? What do you think, chat? What do you think? Jane Foster will probably join the Thor Corps, right? Maybe, but I would imagine in Secret Wars. I mean, she could potentially be in Doomsday as well, but I think she's in Valhalla, right? The question is, where is Lady Thor? The answer is nobody gives a shit. No, I'm just kidding. I already answered that, though. Thanks. Do you think revealing all of those cameos was the right move? What do you mean, revealing all of those cameos? Merry Christmas to you and your family, Josh. Any news on the Spider-Man trailer? I haven't heard shit about the Spider-Man trailer, but I've been checked out. The last couple of days I've been super checked out. So you guys might have seen something that I missed. Do you think them? Yeah, again, what cameos? I don't think Thor is saying the prayer in the forest, bro. I bet money he's praying at Loki's throne. Trailer misdirect? Could be. Absolutely. Absolutely could be. But I think there's like enough vagueness here that it could just be an isolated scene. But it could be. Yeah, something like that. Valhalla will be in Secret Wars, I think. It's possible. It's certainly possible, yeah. There was a rumor of Thor 5 taking place in Valhalla too. Well, so sort of. Basically, the rumor is Valhalla may be an element of Thor 5, yes. Remember the last time they used the forest in the Avengers movie trailer? Not specifically, no. Let me move this chat over here a little bit. The only reason the Avengers win in Doomsday is because Doom wants them to win. He's going to BDE the whole damn multiverse. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that, yes. Hulk, the Infinity War trailer with Hulk in it? Yeah, absolutely could be, but, I mean, I guess the point I'm making is, like, you look at that Hulk trailer, and it's a scene with that's mostly real. I mean, they are running through Wakanda in the actual movie, and what was done was placing an element that wasn't there with a model they had easy access to, you know what I mean, to kind of throw us off. And then you look at, like, the Endgame trailers. The real trickery there was, so they show Tony, and it's pre-viz, meaning, like, they take some of the stuff, and they like eventually they do digital work to make him look really, really skinny, and his face is sunken in. And so they basically just don't do that work for the trailer, and it kind of throws us off. We're like, oh, the timing of this is weird, right? But you look at the Thor teaser and the Steve teaser, and they're just so isolated that they don't need to necessarily hide anything. Like, they could. Why would he be in a forest? Well, it's maybe where he's staying with what's-her-face. You know? It could be... I mean, what does that look like to you? I mean, in a mythic sense, it looks like a dark forest to me. And dark forests are in a lot of mythology. And there could be a lot of explanations for what that forest is. Or it's just some random forest that's isolated. Who knows? I don't think any of the teasers will actually be in the movie. It's more a reintroduction of the MCU to let everybody know the concept. That's possible. It is absolutely possible, especially because they're so short and they're just scenes. That could be what it is. Yeah, I guess we'll see, right? I think they've done a great job of keeping mystery here. And, you know, a lot of people were wrong about the teaser trailers. It's not that we've been completely off because, like, you know, Gore had the idea of 3 and then it became 4 that are just scenes. And, you know, a lot of this stuff now in hindsight makes a little bit more sense, but I'm not mad at all. Like, I like trying to figure this out. I like trying to put the pieces together. And I think Marvel's done a great job of keeping us a little bit off the scent, which is cool. It's cool to me. I think the fatherhood thing is valid, and I really love is sick. Hell, maybe Sadie is Rachel Summers and Doom takes her from Utopia and drops her in the 616. Yeah, I know that's possible. I know there's a new thing out there where people are saying she's Rachel Summers. Could she be Rachel Summers? Yes. Is that what I heard? No. Yeah. Love is a nexus of being? Maybe. I don't know. I kind of think of her more as like, I don't know if they were called the superstructures or something, but I think of her more as like a manifestation of an aspect of reality, you know? Campia heard positive things about Doomsday. Grace heard negative things. I usually align with Grace. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, Grace seems almost like she's really frustrated personally with the direction Marvel is going in. A lot of the content she's made recently is like, she's just butthurt. And I mean, I don't care. It's fine. Like, be butthurt. I don't give a fuck. And as far as, does she have any idea how the movie's actually going to go? I usually don't align with her taste. I think she has an incredible mind for business, and I think she does really good at breaking certain things down with nuance. But, bro, she comes out and says she likes this movie or she doesn't like this movie. It usually does not align with my taste, you know, but that's fine. What's your Super Bowl prediction? Spider-Man trailer or Doomsday trailer? Doomsday, yeah. Smiley Stoic, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. I like your profile picture, too. I like that profile picture, too. X-Men Steve and RDJ being revealed before the movie comes out. Is it a good idea? Oh, yeah, I think so. Because I think there's plenty of other things hidden, dude. I think there's plenty of surprises left. Heading into 2026, what's your stance on how Star Wars, DC, and Marvel franchises are heading? Because it's a big year for all three. Well, so what we'll do is next week sometime, maybe before the New Year's or maybe after the New Year's, I will give my official 2026 predictions for Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and all other properties, especially Warhammer, because it's the best. So we'll do that probably next week. But just this last week on Tuesday night, I had a couple adult beverages, and we watched the videos from early 2025 or late 2024 where I predicted 2025, and we saw all the stuff that I got wrong. I was actually surprisingly accurate when it came to DC. I was pretty far off on Star Wars, but, you know, basically it wasn't that far off. And then Marvel, I was pretty spot on as well. You're the best, Josh. Hey, thanks, man. I don't think I'm the best, but I'm the best at being Josh. So thank you. Warhammer, baby. I want that X-Men hoodie. I love this X-Men hoodie, dog. I love this X-Men hoodie. I got an X-Men 97 shirt somewhere in here, too. I love X-Men 97. Bo DeMeo created a goddamn masterpiece, and you can never convince me otherwise. Have you seen that people don't like X-Men 97? There's some people out there that like don't think it's the best thing ever, and that's just like, who are these people? Still figuring out the script over there at Warhammer, huh? Maybe, yeah. Maybe. I got a Doom shirt from Dark Sport, ready to wear it to Doomsday. Oh yeah, what's that? Am I reading that wrong? Oh yeah, Khalees. I'll probably do that over the weekend. You know, I wanted to do it Christmas Eve because I had like a funny bit for it and everything, but I got to the point where I would have either had to rush it and make a shitty update video or delay the update video and actually do a good update. So we're gonna do a good update this weekend. But yeah, there's I don't even really want to say too much about Unity. Unity will speak for itself. Unity is gonna be dope. Jimmy the Rabbit says, do you think Scott Lang is a nobody or another hero? What if it's neither of those? There's a third option. I don't really know. Will Unity be produced and directed by James Gunn? No, not as long as I'm alive and have my senses. What are the chances Cyclops is in his traditional clothing at teaser 3 and they don't show his costume? That would kind of suck, dog. I don't know if I like that. No! He's got to have the yellow and blue, baby! He's got to have the yellow and blue. I don't like X-Men 97 as a whole. Cyclops was the only good thing about that show. The original series is superior by far. Yeah, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Although I will say this. Here's what I'll say about the original show. There's something about that original show that is so cool because, like, dude, they just would do episodes. They would just, like, go for 60 episodes, take some time off, and then do, like, 60 episodes. And it was, like, there's just something about that where it's very flavor of the week and you're just going. And I like the exploratory nature of how shows used to be. X-Men 97 is like, it's so sharp, it's so well contained, things pay off so well, but there's almost a constraint that comes from that, right? I think it's a masterpiece. It is perfect. However, it's so specifically what they wanted it to be that there is something slightly lost from the just exploratory nature of like doing shows. You know what's funny? It's like I've been talking to my wife about this a little bit here and there because we're both like having some problems with shows these days. And like I think this is a part of why early Game of Thrones was so much better than even like where House of the Dragon is right now. It's part of like when you're adapting something and your idea is like, okay, we're going to do this here, this here, this here, this here, and then boom, 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 we've hit all the points and we're going, and we're done. There is something lost because it doesn't just organically flow, and then things fit together almost a little too well, and you lose that. I keep saying exploratory, but there's other ways to say it. I don't know. Like, there is something lost. And there would be great episodes and sometimes even great arcs where, like, the crew or the writer's room was just, like, they were just on something else. And they were like, yo, we just want to do this. And then you do it, but it has a kinship to the rest of the show. I don't know. I don't even know if what I'm saying makes perfect sense, but you could maybe overproduce a show. You know what I mean? X-Men 97 was some of the best content put out on Disney+. Gambit dying. Shocking and amazing at the same time. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. Must say, I'm glad to still be here in the den getting hyped for Doomsday. Yeah, it is. It does feel great, right? It's like, I don't know, man. Time flies, too, because it's crazy to think like Doomsday was 6-7 years ago. But time flies when the world's melting down and the MCU's falling apart. So in some ways, it only feels like a couple of years, right? Did you hear what Campia and Robert Ryan Burnett said about Doomsday? No, I mean, not in any... No, I didn't specifically see. People come in here and say they think it's going to be good or whatever. What if Supergirl outperforms Doomsday? If Supergirl outperforms Doomsday, then we are truly in some kind of simulation. That's what I'll say. A show almost thrives in the middle rather than beginning or finale where the best character moments are. Yeah, there's something to that. There's something to that, yeah. I believe the reason why you don't feel a ton of integrated storylines, the writer's room are very detailed on what they have to write for TV, watching audio that uses an interest. Yeah, there's something to that. It's almost like... So, look, I like a lot of stuff that's easily digestible or like, you know, follows formulas or however you want to say it, right? But one of my favorite writers and even filmmakers is Charlie Kaufman. And, you know, Charlie, I remember I saw him one time giving a lecture about writing, and he said something like, I have a vague idea of what a 3-act structure is, and I have zero interest in it. And if you like Charlie's movies, so like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Being John Malkovich, even Schenectady, New York, and the claymation movie he did, like Anomalia or whatever. If you've watched his movies, they have a charm and they have a sort of heartbeat to them that keeps you engaged. But it is, yeah, adaptation is a great one. But they are not 3-act stories, you know? And it's almost because they completely abandon that and they find form in another way that there's like this transcendent quality to his stories. And I'm not saying you can like do that always, especially when it comes to mainstream entertainment. But there's like an essence of his system or his formula that I think could be attributed to maybe why audiences these days are a little harder to please. Because we've seen so much great television and so many great movies that follow the formula. You can kind of see it coming a mile away. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. And then I come back to this idea that like the Russo said they want to challenge the audiences. And I think I know how they're going to try to do that. And it's like, I mean, that's really cool. And whether or not the film itself follows a more standard formula, some of these concepts and ideas that are being folded into it, I think are actually more unique than people are giving them credit for right now. So, Sadie is Rachel? No way. Is another misdirection for Jean? I mean, I don't think she's... No, I don't... If you're asking me what I think, she's Jean. She's Jean Grey. Yeah. I think James Marsden at least makes it to Secret Wars, and obviously Hugh Jackman. I think that would be great to have those guys in Secret Wars. I think that would be really good. Okay, that's probably enough yapping about that Thor trailer there. I think that the Thor trailer's real cool. I'm excited to see Thor whooping a bunch of ass in these Avengers movies. Hell yeah. Let's see here. 34 Virgo says, My Time to Shine and Daniel are getting more heat for being the same person. Like when Kevin Durant was exposed his burner account trying to fool Marvel. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't really have much to say on this. Like, I'm trying to kind of be like, I don't like them, fuck them. But I'm also not trying to, like, pile on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be like, you know what, guys? Today's stream... We're going to go shit all over My Time to Shine and Daniel. You know what I mean? No, we don't need to do that. We just need to be like, yeah, they kind of suck ass. But they still got info. They still got info. So, Marvel better watch out. What? Since Captain America is old man in Endgame, doesn't that mean he won't die? Oh! Oh, that's actually a cool thought. But what if things get set up a little bit different? The Russos will bring the excitement back to the MCU with these 2 mega movies. I mean, I agree. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. So, guys, let's just kind of kick it, man. 10, 15, 20 minutes. Let's just chill. What's on your mind? You guys got any cool plans this weekend? What's on your mind? You got any questions for Papa Josh? I'll let you know. Where is Moon Knight, though? Oh, that's a great question. In some desert, being lectured to by a hippo goddess or male Calamae's Milky Way, Red Scorpion, Scarlet, stupid character. To be honest, Kang is on my mind. Yeah, I wonder how Marvel's going to navigate that, you know? I don't know. I like would love if they had some Kang stuff, but I'm kind of doubting it at this point. John Johnson, appreciate the $20 holla, man. Says, became a nerd venture almost 5 years ago. Went from getting out of a relationship to being engaged to my soulmate. Much love and much nerdiness to come in the next year. Hashtag take my money. Hashtag unite. Hey, appreciate you, man. And yeah, I mean, they don't, you know, I'm not supposed to say this, but becoming a nerd venture will change your life. It's maybe the best financial, emotional, just metaphysical decision you can make. It basically makes all your dreams come true. It's like wishing upon a star. Results may vary. Don't sue me, bro. But yeah, I'm glad that you have properly used the power of becoming a nerd venture to create the life you want. That's awesome. I got a question. Why are so many shows and movies having such a huge problem nailing their endings? Stranger Things, Peacemaker, for recent examples. Dude, endings are hard. It's kind of a boring answer, but endings are hard, dude. Some of the best writers ever have problems with endings. You know? So, yeah, I think endings are just challenging. I also think sometimes you have a really, really good ending, and that's because, like, you kind of had that in mind as you were creating the story. And then sometimes the inspiration for a story is like a character or a conflict, and therefore there's a part that's going to be really good, and then maybe the ending is like a little more difficult to figure out. So people really not liking Stranger Things. Why? I mean, I think it took too long. I think they did too much of the same beats recycled in the first 3 episodes. I think there's some cringe stuff going on that people aren't down with. Yeah, I think that's basically the reasons. What's wrong with Stranger Things? The last episode was peak. When you say last episode, are you talking about 4 or are you talking about the ones they just released? I think Downey's Doom will die in Secret Wars, and post-credit scene we'll see a variant of Victor Von Doom because Downey ain't getting any younger, and I would want a Doom for the next saga. It's possible, but it's also possible they keep him. How will they use Old Man Cap? Is he still alive? You know, I'm really not sure. I think there's a couple of options. Yeah, a couple of options there. I don't want to say too much more on it. Maybe we'll get some of that revealed. I think Old Man Cap is going to work as just an end point that we eventually get to. I don't think you're going to see a lot of Old Man Cap in these next couple of movies, but we'll see. Downey is Doom until he's 90. I would say this, because a lot of people's attitude, now, by the way, I've said this before. This isn't the first time I said this take, but there are people out there that are like, oh, Marvel can't afford RDJ Doom. Right? Well, they're like, yeah, maybe for these 2 movies, but they can't actually afford him for like the next 5-10 years. If both of these movies make 1.5 billion or more, then like it's the opposite. They actually cannot afford not to have him. Does that make sense? Because what is the money for? Like, why do you pay superstars? Like, why do you pay a star athlete? I mean, part of why you pay a star athlete is to try to get a championship, but really it's to put butts in seats, right? So if Downey's Doom puts butts in seats and you can profit off of it, then, like, why would you not do that, right? Jeremy G. Day Dorsey says, thanks for answering my question. Huge fan of your channel and content. What makes me angry is the stuff we come up with as fans, nerds, is often way better than what the studios develop. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the support, man. Look, we've talked about this as well, and I think it's a problem that Marvel needs to solve. You know, one of my things is I think they piecemeal a little bit too much. I think they try to like just drip feed you, and they're like, yo, the next one. And I think that's got to go. I think that's got to stop. But at the same time, I mean, depending on what they're cooking in Spider-Man, I mean, think about this. If Spider-Man Brand New Day is really Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man, his Rogues Gallery, and one of the founding members of the X-Men, which it is, like, holy shit. Like, I wouldn't even come up with that. So fans, like, do you know what I mean? So I would hope that Marvel lets these people, like, truly cook, because I wouldn't be surprised if, like, this was, like, a part of Daniel's pitch. Because remember, or Destin's pitch, because remember, Destin was going to do Kang Dynasty. And I think Kang Dynasty was going to use some of the new X-Men. Because we had all these comments of, like, the X-Men are going to get set up, and you're going to see X-Men in the next couple of movies, etc., etc. Plot twist, Secret Wars ends with a cliffhanger, and we secretly find out Secret Wars set up Secret Wars Part 2. Yeah, that'd be wild. I don't think so, but that would be wild. They got to find the balance, because you got to keep us wanting more, but we need satisfying meal at the same time. Yes, and I think there's a way to do that, and I think hopefully they find that way. Yeah. Is Tom Holland actually not going to be in Doomsday? It's looking like he's not in Doomsday, and if he is in Doomsday, it's like he's barely in it. Yeah, maybe that'll make more sense. Really hoping they get Daniel Day-Lewis as Magneto. I mean, if they get Daniel Day-Lewis as Magneto, whew. That would be pretty hype, yeah. Percentage chance Secret Wars splits and does June and December, over under 50. I'd say under, man. I don't see that happening. I know others believe it. I don't see that happening. Miles Morales, where will he appear? Brand New Day, Doomsday, Secret Wars, like in the comics? No. I mean, I think Kevin's actually already commented on this. The next time you see Miles will be in the next Spider-Verse movie. And then after that, yes, they will probably bring him into the MCU. But that's probably like Sony and Marvel deciding that's the best way to do it. Miles has a very popular franchise. They're just going to let you see Miles in that very popular franchise next, and then likely bring him in after that. Do you think Kang is coming back at all? Yeah, but it seems like maybe not in any serious way for a while. Now, I still think there's a chance that Tillman is Kang in some way, shape, or form, but even that's looking less likely. But we'll see. We're 2 for 2 with Magneto actors, hopefully hoping for a third. Yeah, I mean, look, they know how important it is. They know what a big deal it is. And I guess it just would depend on, like, what does Daniel Day-Lewis want to do? What does the audience want? What does he want to do? What's Marvel willing to do? There's a lot of questions, right? Tillman, maybe William Stryker, possibly, although I don't think so. There's a way that maybe he could be, but yeah, I don't think so. Henry Cavill Riz, oh yeah. Tillman, yeah. Did you talk about James Marsden, Cyclops' potential son, being in the Doomsday, being part of the MCU Cyclops? No, I mean, I haven't really spoken to that. So there is something interesting about that. I think it's a little too weird, where essentially, like, it could technically work that these fake Avengers have children that then are used as the real Avengers when they remake the timeline or whatever. I just think that's a little too weird for people. I don't think that's the way they're going to do it. Did Chris Gore every day who Wolverine will kill, that's important? Oh, no, that was Chris Claremont that said that. Chris Gore, I don't think ever commented on that unless he did and I didn't see it. Magic Mike Party? I don't even know what that is, but no. Is Harley Iron Man 3 anyone? That's a good question. I'm not really sure. My thoughts on your theory? Let's see here. Version of the 1960s that we see is the result of Steve creating a branch timeline where he married Peggy. It's a part of that branch timeline. Yeah, that's a huge question, dude. We don't know what the deal is with that. Did Steve create a new timeline, a branch? Did he live on the sacred timeline? Who knows, man? Who knows? Do you think they will or should show RD's face in the trailer? That's a great question. I mean, I think they could afford to wait, right? I think they could afford to wait. Nerds Engaged, thank you, brother, for gifting 5 memberships. Really appreciate it. They could probably just show Doom's mask and then eventually show his face in one of the other trailers. Because remember, like, even a February trailer is still technically early for a December movie or a November movie or whatever. I think it's December. You would normally see that like around July is when it really started to kick off. So maybe you would see Doom's face for the July trailer. That could be cool. Did we talk about Brave and the Bold? What the hell is that? The hell is even that? Brave and the Bold? He showed his face in Secret Wars and it was ugly as hell. True. I believe that them saying Sadie is Jean is smokescreen in reality. Who's saying she's Jean, though? She's actually Madeline Pryor, her clone, which makes more sense if it's a villainous character. Look, there's a possibility that the clones is a part of it, yeah. Possibly, yeah. What the hell is even that? How'd the holidays go? It went good, man. It went good. But, you know, as a dad, it's like, you got to just keep an eye on the kids, you know, fix problems and all that. I'm tired. Can you tell? Can you tell I maybe didn't have as much of a refreshing couple of holiday days as maybe I wanted? I mean, that's okay. Everybody's good. Everybody's safe. That's what matters. Pryor sets up Sinister 2. Yes. There's something there, yeah. So all this mythology introduced and teased in Shang-Chi is just gone? I mean, I wish, bro. Fuck that shit. But no, it's not. Actually, Shang-Chi and the whole thing is actually, I think, going to be pretty important. They should save the unmasking of Doom for Act 3 of Doomsday as the shock equal to half of the Avengers getting dusted. Whoa, yeah. But how are they supposed to get... I mean, I think it might happen earlier. We'll see, though. We shall see. I mean, I think so because it's all Kang stuff, right? Well, it's stuff that Kang had access to, but it's ultimately celestial... eternal technology, in my opinion. Dullboy Jack says, Josh, did you see the BS about the new Avatar movie and Paramount Plus? No, what's the BS there? What's that about? Maybe Dave Chappelle is Nick Fury in another universe? Possibly. Aquafina is awful. She all right, but she didn't need to be in that movie. Did you see about the dreamwalking Doom theory for RDJ's Doom? I mean, no, not specifically, but I mean, I've thought about that, yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah, man. I like this X-Men hoodie. Josh fighting at the White House event. Josh versus John Jones confirmed. Nah, fuck that shit, dog. Fuck that shit. You don't pay Downey for that money for a third act reveal. I kind of agree with that, yeah. Missed the stream. Been on a Boxing Day pub crawl. We'll watch clips later. There you go, James. I hope you're having fun and being safe out there, man. You really don't know Dad Christmas until you have Dad Christmas, so get some rest. Yeah, it is what it is. Look, they had a great time. Everybody's good. So we're good. I think they can't kill off any of the Thunderbolts, F4, Sam's Cap, Thor, Loki. They just kill a bunch of these characters. It's going to be hard. They need familiar faces for the next saga. Yeah, I mean, I frankly think a lot of what's going on in these two movies is to rehabilitate some of these characters and to set them up for a better time in the next saga. 100%. And if they're doing what I think they're doing, I think it's going to work. Who's the next big bad of the mutant saga? Or do they get a tease or stinger in Secret Wars? I think Apocalypse and Sinister are a big part of it, but I think it'll either be the Mad Celestials, the First Firmament, the Maker, or it will be some combination of all of those, maybe Annihilus. Yeah. Adam Driver would be a fantastic Batman in the DCU. I disagree, and I really like Adam Driver, but I don't think so, man. What are some of your biggest fan casts for the rebooted Avengers, assuming we get them? That's a good question. I don't know. Who could be Iron Man? Who would be a good Iron Man? And then it's like, do you go older or do you go younger? Because obviously Tom Cruise would be awesome. But do you really go older or do you go younger? Jacob Eldorari. What has he been in? Jake Gyllenhaal? I mean, I don't hate it, but Danny DeVito? Perfect. Glenn Powell as Iron Man? Can he do a porn stash? Can Glenn Powell do a nice porn stash? But isn't he also kind of blonde? You probably want dark hair for Tony. Who is Jacob Eldorard? Is he the Frankenstein guy? Is he like that 6'6" dude? I would love the Maker. Kind of sucks we don't get him now. Yeah, true. Timmy C. I mean, I like Timmy C. I just don't see him as Tony. That's him? Oh, okay, cool. How would you feel if the Fox X-Men are the previous First Class while the X-Men are the new class? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some of that energy, but nah. Brandon Skelenar? Yeah, I kind of see that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question, though. Glenn Powell would cook so hard as Green Lantern. I think so, too. Yeah, he would have been a great Hal. I agree. Who played young Cyclops? Oh, yeah. Was that Miles Teller? Who did play young Cyclops? Tim C is overrated. Hey, don't say that. You don't say that around here. Miles Teller, RDJ. Not bad. Not bad. GPC Covenant with a $5 haul. Appreciate you, brother. It says, theory, Thor is not crying over Deadpool. It's Loki shapeshifted on his deathbed. Happy holidays. Whoa! I kind of like that. That's a really cool idea. I don't know that it's true, but I like where your head's at, man. Pedro Pascal is Iron Man only if he like barely ever takes the helmet off. Miles Teller would be a good Iron Man. Yeah. Is Sadie Sink Jean Grey? I think so, bud, but nobody knows for sure yet. I mean, there are a few people that know for sure, but yo, what about Daredevil? Is it possible he's in any of these movies? Yeah, so I heard about a crazy scene with Daredevil, okay? So apparently there's going to be a scene where a lot of the New York heroes, the New York City heroes, are gathered, and Doom's there, and he's saying some shit, and nobody's believing him. Nobody is believing him, okay? And he takes off the mask, and he reveals the face that we all recognize as Tony Stark. And everybody is like shocked. And then they cut over to Daredevil, and he's like, "Can somebody explain to me what are we looking at here? What's going on?" I mean, I think it's a crazy scene. Could work, we'll have to see. I don't know. I like that we're getting Hulk and possibly Jean Grey in Brand New Day. But I think I would have preferred Daredevil, Punisher, and Spidey team up, and Kingpin as the main bad. Well, I think you're still going to get more Kingpin. I think they're working on that, and I think you'll probably get more Daredevil as well. There's going to be a lot of twists with RDJ's Doom. Some we've predicted, others we may not have, but it's going to feed us. I tend to agree. I think there's some real mystery there for sure. Yeah, and then Heather goes out to lecture Doom. Yeah. And then she gets like fried. He like electrocutes her like Black fucking Adam. And then Daredevil's like smiling, and he's like, "I know what happened with that one. I can smell it." And he's really excited. Can Doom just end Kingpin, please? What? Kingpin's great. What are you talking about? Kingpin is awesome. Nerds Engaged, appreciate the 5 spot. Says, do you think they ever develop a movie screen that can be recorded from to prevent pirates? No, but I think they could. But I think that this shows it is cheaper for them to just put fear out and then try to cut people down. Saw your post last night and I agree. Black Adam is a good movie. So here's the thing that's crazy about Black Adam. Like, I'm watching it and it's like, I think the beginning of Black Adam is tough. The exposition is ridiculous. But basically, as soon as Black Adam actually shows up in the movie's like fucking legit. Like, not just like, oh, it's okay. Like, no, it's legit, dude. And there's a couple of moments where it loses it a little bit. I think the third act is a little weak. The first act is very tough. Like, I was like, wow, this is fucking bad. But the movie itself, dude, it blows the action in Superman out of the water. And it's so alpha. Dude, the movie's so fucking alpha. And I don't know, dude. I really like Black Adam, man. I think that movie's awesome. I think that movie is legit. But also the first, like, 15, 20 minutes are pretty tough. Disney literally thought the making of Echo show was a better idea than the Kingpin show. You know what's funny about that is, like, that's not exactly correct, but it does point to the problem with Marvel. What I think the real issue was that Disney thought that making an Echo show that had Kingpin in it was a better use of their resources, and that they would be able to use the popular characters to build up the less popular characters. And the thing about that is, maybe not totally wrong, but it's that 80-20 rule. Like, that's crazy. Like, that would be like the best steakhouse in town starts only serving steaks on salads. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, sure, you're going to move some salads, but you're going to piss off a lot of motherfuckers that came to that steakhouse. Do you see what I mean? And that's a bad idea. And I think it bared out as a bad idea. Holy shit, Echo, totally forgot about that. Never saw it, never will. You know, Echo is decent up until it has the worst finale I've ever seen for any show ever. A finale so bad, it made me want to, like, jab out my own eyeballs. Like, a truly awful finale. But other than that, it wasn't bad. Yeah. Apocalypse as a hybrid deviant external makes him perfect overarching villain. There's something there. I like where you're cooking, brother. I wonder what they're going to do. I think it might be connected to, like, the Mad Celestials, to the lack of balance in the universe. I mean, I think in the same way that Endgame, they didn't get out clean, I think Secret Wars, they don't get out clean. The way they're going to put the timeline back together will have some kind of an issue. And maybe it'll just be an issue that, like, Apocalypse or Mad Celestials or maybe Annihilus have to deal with. Like, to the heroes in the main universe, they're like, hey, it worked, it's perfect. And then maybe in the Cancerverse or in the Negative Zone or somewhere else in a pocket of reality, consequences were felt. And then that guy, that being, or those forces are now going to wreak havoc on the main universe. I think, generally speaking, that's probably what will happen. Yeah. Yeah. But that, I mean, Apocalypse is so cool if done right. I mean, and I really, again, I think the Rock Apocalypse would be awesome. I think the Rock Apocalypse would be awesome. I hope they get Rock for Apocalypse, man. It would be great. So, y'all got any plans for this weekend, man? I am really going to try to get some painting done. Like, I got some new paint brushes and a wet palette for Christmas. I ordered myself a little Warhammer stuff to paint up. So I'm hoping to build and paint some Warhammer over the weekend. Maybe a little today, maybe over the weekend, but... am I going to watch The Smashing Machine? At some point, probably. Yeah. I'm going to complete Space Marine 2 game I got 2 days ago. Nice, man. Yeah, I'm reading or I guess listening to on Audible. I'm listening to an absolutely incredible Warhammer novel right now. It's been blowing my mind. But there was one thing that happened that really pissed me off, and that is a female custodes. They have a fucking female custodian just out of nowhere in this book. And yes, it did bother me. I'm not going to say the book's not good. The book's incredible. But holy shit, I did not like that. But I'm going to finish it. It's a good book. Really good. Just got Arc Raiders. The soundtrack is amazing. The Arc Raiders music is underrated. It's really hyped, dude. And when you get back into Speranza after a crazy raid and that music is hitting, it's good. It's really good. I'm going to watch Avatar next week. See that X-Men trailer because Cap and Thor ones aren't really too important, but the X-Men was a big one. I mean, I'm definitely going to go see that X-Men one for sure, yeah. The Emperor isn't good enough with Genecraft to create a female custodes. That's the limit of his ability. No, so the reality is female custodes make sense within the lore. It's not that they cannot exist. And I would actually argue that female custodians make more sense than female Space Marines because there's no extra surgeries. There's no like need for the body to necessarily be as resilient as the aspirins have to be for Space Marines. And also the fact that custodians are so rare just in general. They're like 1 in a billion. So the odds are like basically when you're working within a pool that's already so rarefied, I think a female candidate actually makes a lot of sense. Here's the problem. This is like my issue. You cannot act like they just wrote 60 plus books operating in that whole time period, and not one single time was there ever a female custodian even mentioned. So the idea that last year in a codex and in an animation and then now in a book that's placed into that timeline, they're just there is absurd. Meaning, like if I was GW, the way I would have handled this was like I would have put it into the lore. Like perhaps, just as one example, after they lost most of their numbers fighting in hell for 7 years straight, maybe they opened the candidacy up to female custodians to replenish the ranks. That would have made perfect sense. Maybe instead you could have specific female custodians that had some attribute that was different than their male counterparts, but was also really efficient and important to the order itself. But they didn't even fucking try. They were just like, no, it's always been. No, it has not always been. And it will continue to bother me until that shit is earned. Right? But it's not the same thing as saying like it could never work in the lore. Like, no, absolutely. It could work. Yeah. So there's no all-female armies? No, there are. There are the Sisters of Battle. There are the Sisters of Silence. I mean, one of the reasons that I would get so butthurt about female custodians is like, they literally have females already as a part of their army. They're not custodians. Look, you want to know the truth? Do you want to know the truth? The only reason we have female custodians is because there's a sect of the Warhammer fandom that wants 8 foot, 9 foot tall muscle mommies. It's weird. It's just weird. Now, at the same time, am I inherently against 9 foot tall muscle mommies? Like, no. You know what I mean? Do you? It's all good. But let's not fucking act like this is something that the story group is sitting around and being like, you know what would be really great for the lore? No, it's some fucking gooner shit. And that's fine, but let's just call a spade a spade. It's gooner shit. And I will never have a female custodian in my armies. My little plastic army men that I paint and build, they all have penises. Okay? Aren't there female orcs? I don't know. Who gives a fuck about the Xenos? No, I'm just kidding. I actually just don't know. James says, would the Scouring be a good place to jump into? If it weren't for this female custodian, I would say yes. I mean, it is literally one of the best Warhammer books I have ever read so far. I think it does an incredible job of showing the Primarchs, particularly in this very broken, vulnerable moment. And it actually, dude, like, it is genuinely great. Like, the scene with Vulcan is great. The scene with Rogel Dorn is great. The scene with Gilliman begins with the female custodian, so it's ruined, and I will never read any more of that book. But the first two are very good. That tree owes me money. Wait, what? This one? We're going to take it down. It'll be gone next week. Just relax. Okay, let's see what you said here. You wait, what? Read your... Kaylin, where's your super chat? I don't even see it, dog. Was it like way long ago? I don't see it, bud. What? Did you really send a super chat? Hang on, I gotta be missing something. Was this like way up in the stream, bro? Matt Spiro. Yeah, you asked about the... Matt Spiro asked about the Spidey trailer. I'm not really sure, brother. I'm not really sure. People say I'm a Zoomer, but I'm actually a Gooner. Yeah, it's people like you that made the female custodians happy. Thanks. Dude, Caitlin, I don't see a single super chat from you. I don't know if it's not a super? You sent me on a wild goose chase! Hey, Josh, what's your favorite movie and show that released this year? Probably F1 is my favorite movie. Favorite show? Favorite show is a little tougher. I mean, I really enjoyed Mobland. I really enjoy Mobland, but I guess technically that came out like last year into this year. Alien, I liked Alien Earth a lot. I know a lot of people talk shit on Alien Earth. They're wrong. It's incredible. But I don't know, I would say it's my favorite show. Pluribus has been so hit or miss for me. The last episode of Pluribus was like genuinely good, and thank God for this character from Paraguay or whatever. But the last two episodes before this were terrible. Like genuinely terrible. Pluribus started off so strong, and then it's like, holy shit, dude, what the fuck is going on with this show? But it found itself again. Did you watch Fallout yet? Dude, Fallout's great so far. I'm really enjoying it. I do think it got a little too, like, almost a parody with the one character that takes over Vegas or whatever. Like, the setup for that character in the past was a little corny, a little cringe, but mostly the show's been great. And I absolutely love what they're doing with Maximus's character. So Pluribus lost me around 3 to 4. Yeah, that's where it becomes terrible. Not just like, oh, bad. Like, no, terrible episodes. Terrible. I'm waiting for the whole thing to drop. First two were great. What first two? What you talking about? Mobland was great. Mobland, I think, is one of the best shows of the last 5 to 10 years. Mobland so far is absolutely incredible, dude. Has everything I want. Oh, Pluribus? Yeah. Look, I truly think they saved it, but it went off course for a little bit there. And it did a few things that I just genuinely, I very much dislike in storytelling, where it like sets up this really scary thing that then gets completely played off. Yeah. Yeah, but I think Pluribus will remain pretty solid now, hopefully. I'm pretty sure that isn't the real House character that you see in the flashbacks. That's his less successful goofy brother. You learn about him in the game. Oh, really? Okay. Interesting. That could really work, yeah. Incursion scenes in Doomsday will be epic and sad. I hope so. I think that's what we need, right? We need it to be, like, devastating. We need it to look like, holy shit. So, yeah. Lou says, Josh, Merry Christmas to you and the family. Hashtag nerdy family for life. Well, I really appreciate it, brother. Hope you and yours had a good Christmas and holiday as well. So thank you. Doomsday death predictions, I think everybody dies, man. Except a few. I mean, there'll be maybe like 10 characters that make it out on the arc. Have you been watching other influencers' Doomsday theories? A little bit here and there, but not really. Not really. I mean, once I make a theory, I already know what it is and I enjoy it. And then when everybody steals it and plays off of my theories, I don't really need to watch that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm at the source, baby. Just teasing, but kind of not. If they kept RDJ, how would that work? As Doom? So the way it would work is he was always Victor. When they reset the timeline, they're going to establish an actual Tony Stark. And most of the events that Tony Stark, the Doom version, had done will still remain in the canon. And I know that's weird, but that's probably what it is, yeah. Did you see Campia heard some wild details from some scoopers this week? No, I've been kind of checked out over the last couple of days, but I'll look at it over the weekend, and I'll be a little bit more plugged in on Monday when we talk on Monday. What would his role be in the reboot? He would be a character called Victor Von Doom. He would be the ruler of a place called Latveria. He would be somewhat of the mortal enemy of a character called Reed Richards. I think a better question is, how do you think Doctor Doom without it being RDJ after Secret Wars? Same thing. Same thing. So he's not going to remember Secret Wars? That's a great question. I wonder if he will. In Marvel Comics, he did. In Marvel Comics, he did. I don't know if he knew instantly or if he just figured it out because he's Doom. But that's what Infamous Iron Man is about. Will this take away from RDJ Iron Legacy? No, but it certainly recontextualizes it. You go back and watch the scene, Clint's house with Fury and Tony's conversation. There's Doom all over that conversation. Well, look, I can't tell if it's just my bias and the sort of crazy neurodivergent brain that I have, and I can't let it go. But I've been rewatching a lot of the MCU, and it's all over. The Doom shit is all over. I mean, especially in Age of Ultron, Iron Man 3, it's in there. I mean, I don't know if they literally always planned this, or if they were like, you know, what we did with our Tony was so close to Doom that this retcon could really make a lot of sense. So again, I don't know. We'll see. I'm doing what has to be done to stave off something worse. Tony to Cap in Civil War. Yeah. I mean, I was watching the scene in Iron Man 3 where he's in the basement tinkering, and he's pretending to have a moment with Pepper with the Iron Man drone. And then she catches him, and like his whole attitude was like they're a part of me. Like my suits are a part of me. And he's talking about how nothing's been the same since New York. He doesn't sleep, you know, and it's just like, it's so Victor coded. Like a lot of this stuff is very Victor coded. And again, I can't tell if like maybe I'm reading too far into it, or if it'll end up being this really satisfying, completely recontextualizing retcon, which I think is what I hope, right? Yeah. And we're going to get into a lot of that in 2026. We're going to do a whole video series where we look back at all these films. And it's not just these movies, too. It's also the X-Men. Because you think about this, right? We look at the Fox X-Men, and we can watch the Fox X-Men film and be like, okay, so if Kang created this timeline, what things did he do and not do in this timeline? And why might he have done that? You know? We'll see. The recontextualizing is great. Yeah, Ultron Sigma. Yeah, well, I don't know, because, I mean, you know, Tony doesn't create Ultron in the comics, right? That's Hank Pym. But, you know, the whole knock on Ultron in there is he's like a lot like Tony, right? Well, if Tony's really Victor Von Doom, then a lot of what happened in Age of Ultron makes a lot more sense. Like a artificial intelligence that considered a Victor Von Doom mind to be somewhat of his parental figure spends 5 minutes on the internet and decides humanity needs to be destroyed. I mean, that sounds pretty Victor Von Doom coded to me. Yeah. We'll just see, won't we? We'll just see, won't we? What if Ultron knew about Tony being Doom because of the Mind Stone? Yeah, I wonder if there were any characters that actually knew about it. You know? And then, you know what else is crazy? Is like, remember what Vision says about Iron Man? Our very strength, what does he say? Like, Hulk's conflict or fighting against it, resistance or whatever. Wanda knew? At what point did Wanda know, though? Because I would argue that in Multiverse of Madness, she knew. After studying the Darkhold, she probably knew, yeah. Because she's dreamwalking into all these realities, dude, you know? Our very strength invites challenge. Yes, yes, yes. And he talks about how basically things have gotten way worse since Iron Man popped up. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see. I think the most satisfying way for all of this to go is that essentially, like, he was still Tony Stark, right? But he's actually Victor, raised by the Starks, that had friends that kind of made... It's nature versus nurture. And we can look at the path of Tony and kind of be like, yeah, some of the ways in which this went off the rails was probably his nature. The nurture was the thing that ultimately made him into the hero. And again, you guys know I have this theory that, like, so when he says I am Iron Man and snaps, this might be post Secret Wars, post him defeating Victor Von Doom, coming back to that timeline, snapping, and it will be him basically reclaiming his identity as Iron Man despite being born Victor Von Doom, right? But he also might understand that that being does have to die then, and there'll be another Iron Man. Do you know what I mean? And then Victor, the actual Victor, is Victor once again on the sacred timeline. And when Tony Stark comes back, it's just a different actor and a different, I guess, being. It's a little bit like the Ralph Boner thing, right? But we'll see. I think Thanos knows Victor Von Doom too. Thanos could certainly know something about it, and there is some weird shit about, like, you know, you're not the only one with cursed knowledge or something, right? Riri? Who that? Who's that? Did you misspell something? Did you have a typo there? What is even that? Even in Multiverse of Madness, one could assume that the alternate universe Tony made Ultron sentries, aka maybe Doombots. Yes, I think there's something there, yeah. Yeah. Which, the other thing is, right, what's interesting about those Ultrons? The Ultrons seem to have... They're completely stable, right? And I think that's because they're not strictly AI. They're probably AI combined with some magic, which is why they glow yellow. Because, like, look, that group defeats Thanos with magic. They use the Book of Ashanti. And they also use magic, the sands. I forget what those sands are called. But they use those sands, maybe the sands of Ashanti, actually, to combined with technology to make the handcuffs that make it so Doc Strange can't use his magic. So in 838, which is kind of like the superior universe, they use magic and technology. Well, I mean, that feels very Victor Von Doom. So I would argue that probably what happened in 838 was that Tony Stark realized he wasn't actually Tony Stark. And maybe he embraced the magic. Ashanti? Ashanti, Vishanti. Who gives a shit, Shanti? You know what I mean, Carl? Holy. Iron Man's snap left him with a damaged face. The Russos already said that Tony's death is a big part of Doomsday. I think the same Tony will be reincarnated as Doom. So, you know, maybe, yeah. We're still talking Ralph Bone Piece. Hey, whoa, hey, it's a family show here. Josh, can I help you write Unite? I've written 17 novels. Maybe at some point. I mean, the core story of Unity right now is crafted by me, but maybe there's already other people involved. Maybe we're already building this thing out. I don't know. But yeah, maybe at some point. Eric Voss said the writers of Multiverse of Madness confirmed that the portal Reed used was Dr. Doom's portal tech. Yeah, it's like the time platform, basically. Yeah. But it's also the same thing that Kang uses, which I think is what they actually said. I don't think they said Dr. Doom. I think Doom's face reveal for the movie, not the trailers. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, look, I'm going to get on out of here. I appreciate each and every one of you that came on by today. Sorry I was a little lower energy than usual. Sorry this fucking light won't work. And I'm also sorry that I was late because of goddamn Starbucks, man. Fuck. We'll be back at it next week. And guess what? After next week, it's a new year and it's a new me. Hell yeah. New year, new me. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to support Supergirl. Okay. I know I'm... We'll see. You know what I mean? It's probably going to bomb either way. So maybe I'll support it just to look virtuous. But that shit going to bomb. Flop. Box office disaster. And that's too bad. All right, everybody. Much love. Appreciate y'all, man. Much love, man. Video probably dropping over the weekend. Clips tomorrow. No clips today, but clips will drop from this for tomorrow. I'm cooking some big videos, and we'll be back at it next week, of course. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone. Did everybody leave? It's a post-credit scene on your Friday stream, and I'm gonna fucking sing. And I might be a little mean if you ask me some bullshit like you usually do. Anyway, appreciate you. Hope you had a good time. Not just here today, but all throughout the week and all throughout the holidays. Eat some food. But also maybe walk. You know, give some love. But also wrap it up. Life is about balance. So go out and find some balance. But don't look too hard, otherwise you're out of balance. Think about it. Hell yeah, Dunkin' Donuts over Starbucks any day of the goddamn week. All right, I'm out of here. Do me a favor, actually, make it 2. Open up your third eye. And watch out and clean out that stinky butt hole. See ya.